Hi everyone, what is up? It is Achia, and we're here to do a little rapidly wrap up for the first week of NetGalley November. So this is going to be my progress from November 1st through the 9th, as well as seeing kind of how I pick the books and other things. So if you don't know, my name is Atia here at Booking It with Atia. Welcome back to the channel, and I'm one of the co-hosts for NetGalley November 2.0. All of the information about that is going to be linked down in the description below, like who started it, what we're doing, what we're about. But yeah, I spent most of the first week of November finishing leftover books from October, and then I was able to finally dive into my November reads. I'll tell you what I started the month with, and then I'll run down the list of new approvals, and then we'll get into how I chose the books, or what books were chosen for me, and what I finished, what I'm currently reading. So I started the month with 832 total approvals, and of those 832, 492 have been reviewed or feedback has been sent. So I started the month with 59.1% of feedback sent. That was my percentage. And now, as of the end of November 9th, I'm at 852 approvals and 500 review and feedback sent. And so I submitted some feedback, but then I also got approved for quite a few books. And now my percentage is 58.7%. So I did go down in that regard. Two of these were prior reads. And I was approved for 20 books in the first week, in the first 9 days of November. I'm going to quickly go through these. They are on the screen right now. So we have The Fortune Flip by Lauren Kung Jessen, The King's Pregnancy Proposition by Laquette, Funerals Are for the Living by Sammy Ellis, The Witch Without Memory by Maitri Wijesekara, Fogs of Time by R.M. Alamont, The Body by Bethany C. Morrow, Enemies to Lovers by Alicia Rai, This Is Who I Am by Rashmi Sir Deshpande, I believe, Mothering the Mother by Shafia Monroe, Bright Before Us Like a Flame, edited by Sasa Akil and Kahi Crutcher, Sublimation by Isabel J. Kim, Fire, Sword, and Sea by Vanessa Riley, Tangled Root and Wild Dreams by Angela Velez, The Art of Loving You by Natasha Bishop, The Afterlands by Kemi Dawn Bowman, The Experimento by Maria J. Murillo, Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones, Sublime by Melissa De La Cruz, All Superheroes Need Photo Ops by Elizabeth Stevens, The Burning Queen by Aparna Verna. Those are the 3 books I was approved of. I'm not going to give you synopses or anything like that because that's not why we're here. So going into what I actually read, I'm going to insert the clip from my last sprint session of October, I believe it was, of me picking the books. So here we go. I have a die. So I have my D6. I usually have 2 of each going. So I really should roll for 6. So I usually have 2 audiobooks, 2 ebooks, 2 physical books. I have a 6. That's the first number. Okay. There's some heavy hitters in row 6 and column 6. And I have another 6. Okay, 6, 6. Interesting. Buffalo Hunter Hunter. Okay. I'm not mad about that. I need to read this because one of my book clubs is going to be reading this. And this is, I have this as an ebook. So if I do across 6 and down 5, that's Breath of a Dragon. It's another ebook. And if I do down 6 across 5, that's Lou with the Band, which is an audiobook. I think we're gonna do Lou with the Band. So we have 1 and 2. If I go across 1 and down 2, ooh, I get How I Know White People Are Crazy and Other Stories, which is an audiobook and a nonfiction, which helps me for my just overall nonfiction goal. And then if I go down 1 and across 2, I have Jade is a Twisted Green, which I own this book. I have a physical copy of this and I have the NetGalley copy. So that would help my goal of reading things from my backlist. Okay, we're gonna have to come back to that. I have to think about that one. And 1 across 1, down 5. Chronicles of Ori, which is an audio. Down 1 across. Ooh, we already know. It's Eternal Ruin. I was gonna read it anyway. Yep. Yep. This is gonna be a physical one because I do have it pre-ordered, so it will be arriving to me like November 5th or something like that. Is when they said I'll get it. Woo! That's good. Not the dice doing parkour. I have a 1 again. Okay, I'm gonna look up the 1s and 6s. And 4. So if I go across 1, down 4, oh, Cursed Daughters. Which is an ebook. Down 1, across 4, I have A Mouthful of Dust, and A Mouthful of Dust is gonna win. That's book 6 in the Singing Hills series. That has won. This is an ebook. Okay, we have 6 again. And we have 4. I know exactly what okay, so I'm like ahead of myself. So if I go across 6, down 4, we have Here for a Good Time, which I am excited for. But if we go down 6 and across 4, we get Air by Salva Tahir, which I've been wanting to read since I got it. So it's going to be Air. I'm ready for that. I think this means How I Know White People Are Crazy is probably going to be what I do for 1, 2. Across 1, down 2. So I have 2 ebooks, 2 audiobooks, 2 physical books, which works because that is usually the makeup of what I read. And so we're going to talk about what I finished in those first 9 days, what arcs I finished, starting with A Mouthful of Dust by Vo. And since these are books that I am giving feedback for, I am just going to read you the feedback that I sent because I feel like that is the most succinct way and easiest way for me at least to do this. And I had a e-arc as well as an ALC for A Mouthful of Dust, so I was able to submit 2 feedback, not only one. I only read the 1 book, which we love when that happens. A Mouthful of Dust, the latest installation in Nevo's The Singing Hills cycle, follows wandering cleric Che and their hopo companion Almost Brilliant to the infamous town of Baolin, site of a legendary famine, as they set out to collect stories from the townspeople. Trapped within the sights of a power-hungry magistrate and his secretive wife, Che and Almost Brilliant race to discover what truly happened during the days of the famine and how humans can be pushed to the brink of insanity in dire times. Once again, Vo's writing is succinct without being sparse, threaded with Chit and Almost Brilliant's signature sardonic humor and loving banter, and chillingly haunting when needed. A Mouthful of Dust interrogates how lack of resources can both warp our humanity and unite a community in the worst ways possible. I appreciated that Vo did not pull any punches when it came to Chit interrogating the complexities of hunger-related trauma while also infusing her signature storybook-like style in appropriate moments. I'm looking forward to book 7, which we already have a cover and I believe a title for, which is super exciting. I gave A Mouthful of Dust 4 stars. A Mouthful of Dust was 105 pages. I read A Mouthful of Dust with the ER copy. And I'm going to give you like totals that I read at the end as well, like including currently reading and where I'm at in that. Next up, we have How I Know White People Are Crazy and Other Stories by Dr. Jonathan Lasseter. This is a nonfiction, another one where I had both the ALC, which is an advanced listener copy, and the eARC, which is an e version of an advanced reader's copy. And at the speed I was listening to, which was 2 times speed, it took me 4 hours and 23 minutes to finish it. Dr. Jonathan Lasseter's How I Know White People Are Crazy and Other Stories is a searing collection of memoir-style essays that illuminate the pervasiveness and intrepid harm caused by the whiteness mindset and the damage it is doing to our society, with a special focus on its effects on the global majority and from his specific lens of being a queer Black psychologist. Dr. Lasseter's writing employs both humor and solemnity to illustrate the many ways in which the mantle of whiteness is slowly harming us all, including how young Black boys are raised into Black men with the yoke of toxic masculinity, how the priority of being portrayed as nice enables white women to weaponize victimhood, and how the whiteness mindset chips away at our collective humanity by separating us from our communities and isolating our souls, among much more brilliant points. This is a nonfiction book I felt pulled back to and is definitely the fastest I've ever finished a work of nonfiction, which is a testament to Dr. Lasseter's skill as a writer, an intellect, and a creative, as his method of presenting information coupled with his personal experiences and introspection made for a propulsive reading experience. I see myself coming back to this work in the future, and I will most definitely be purchasing a physical copy to keep on my shelves for future reference. And if you couldn't tell by that review, I gave How I Know White People Are Crazy and Other Stories 5 stars. Then we have The Ghost of Gwendolyn Montgomery by Clarence A. Haynes. This book is 227 pages. Clarence A. Haynes' debut, The Ghost of Gwendolyn Montgomery, follows estranged Gwendolyn and Fonzie, one a top publicist in NYC running from her past, and the other a queer mystic romantically entangled with a ghost. After several of Gwendolyn's high-profile events start going hauntingly awry, and Fonzie realizes that the ghosts from the other side are trying to break through to our plane, the two must reunite to put a stop to it before total mystical chaos engulfs New York City. I had a blast reading The Ghost of Gwendolyn Montgomery. It was fast-paced, and the light horror haunting plotline was intriguing and kept me engaged in the story. The dual POVs of Gwendolyn and Fonzie were clear and easy to follow, and there was solid character development that felt evenly balanced between our two protagonists. I would definitely read more both from this author and more in this world he's created, and I gave The Ghost of Gwendolyn Montgomery 4 stars. And then the final book that I finished during the first week of NetGalley November is actually a volume of manga, and this is Nezumi's First Love Volume 1 by Riku Oseto. Nezumi's First Love Volume 1 is the start of a romantic manga series following Nezumi, a trained assassin since childhood who has fallen in love with Ao, a regular, not very lethal boy she met by chance. When their relationship is discovered by Nezumi's boss and Ao's life is threatened, Nezumi must train Ao to become a killer in 30 days or else both their lives are forfeit. I didn't know what to expect going into this, but I absolutely loved it and had a blast. The artwork style is clear and the pacing does a good job hitting the important emotional character beats. There's a good balance of dialogue to artwork that helps move the story along in a way that works for the plot and builds the appropriate amount of tension. It's a perfect blend of cute romance and assassin core, and I've already put Volume 2 on my list of anticipated releases. And I gave Nezumi's First Love Volume 1 5 stars. Like, this was truly a very unexpected favorite read, and that was 200 pages. Now, what I was currently reading as of the end of November 9th, we have 6 things here. I am 23% into Breath of the Dragon by Fonda Lee and Shannon Lee. I'm reading that via eARC. I'm 11% into Air by Sabaa Tahir. I have a physical copy of that as well as a NetGalley copy. I'm 15% into Eternal Ruin by Taijas Jerma, another one where I have a physical copy as well as an eARC. I am 18% into The Buffalo Hunter x Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. I am listening to the audiobook of that one. I am 80% into Lou with the Band by Alexandra Leigh Young, another one where I am listening to the ALC. And then I am 34% into Here for a Good Time by Paye Mothet War, another one where I'm listening to the ALC. And so with all of that, what I finished and what I'm currently reading, I have read a total of 802 pages and listened to a total of 10 hours and 6 minutes of NetGalley books, which is pretty awesome. And I'm excited to keep going. I'm excited to keep doing these weekly updates and also seeing how my stats fluctuate as the month goes on. Let me know how you're doing for NetGalley November. Where did you start the month? Where are you currently? Have you had any unexpected favorites or disappointments? Have you had any like DNFs and had to navigate writing a review for that? Let me know all of that in the comments below. All of my socials are linked down below if you want to get yourself a sweatshirt, t-shirt, hoodie, things like that. Make sure to check out my bonfire. You can also get yourself a bookmark from my Etsy shop. And if you would like to support the channel further, you can become a Patreon member or a channel member. And I will see you somewhere on the NetGalley November sprint train and also in the next video. Bye!
Weakness showing, I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man, I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo, got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me, I'm